Hi and welcome to Good Business. I'm your host Nicole Murray. Well, we've got a great show for you today where we look into the benefits of being your own boss. We'll find out the hints and tips of how to start your own business from 3 people who have discovered it firsthand. Our team went on location to Beenleigh to have a talk to Amy Krasnarik about her at-home childcare business called Amy's Home Daycare. Later on in the studio, we'll talk to Laurie Fry, who's an independent consultant who works for a party plan company called Party Light, and what it's like to work from home. Then lastly, we'll talk to Tara Harris about how she grew her pet grooming centre into the business it is today with over 1,000 clients on record. But first though, here's Amy. Well, today we're here at Eagleby at Amy's Family Home Daycare Centre. Hi Amy, how are you?
Hi, good, thanks.
Thanks for joining us.
That's all right.
Now, why did you choose to do home daycare as opposed to getting a premises?
I put my daughter in home daycare looking for work. When all failed in that, I decided what else can you do, and looked into what do you need to do at home to be home daycare. I was in a unit which isn't recommendable, especially upstairs, so I went house hunting and I found this house which met all the requirements for QLEX and Amana Family Home Daycare and everything that you need for kids.
Now Amy, how does having your own business compare to working for someone else?
You get to plan everything yourself, you get to organise your days. If you're sick, it's okay, but you don't have to answer to anybody. You can just do your own thing when you need and see fit to do it.
So was it hard to get started in the business? Did you receive any help?
Yeah, I looked into Amana Family Home Daycare. They showed me what I needed to do, like blue care cards, a proper house, safety checks. Then I spoke to Wesley Mission Brisbane, who applied for blue care cards. I spoke to my mum, my sister, who helped do signage, all the paperwork, print up little bits of pretty paper for the kids, and then sat down and put it into action.
And do you enjoy that side of it, like doing all the organising
and the paperwork? Yeah, it can get very daunting sometimes, but after you do it for a month or two, it gets really, really easy, and it just goes with the flow now. So I can do it when the kids are napping or on a quick Sunday while my daughter's napping. It's pretty easy now.
Pretty easy, yeah. So Amy, take us through a typical day. What sort of activities do you need to do on a daily basis?
I have a daily safety checklist, which I have to walk around the yard, walk around the inside, make sure safety plugs are inside, make sure there's no glass bottles or anything dangerous for the kids. Injury reports if there's an injury for a child, getting the child's lunch ready, changing their nappies, putting them to bed, organising their activities, and giving them fun stuff to do so they enjoy their time here, not just task after task after task.
And so is that part of like their learning and development?
We have a scrapbook which we put a portfolio in. So once a week I pick what has the child learnt new. So they couldn't climb the slide the day before, but the next day they could climb the slide. So we take a photo and we write in what part of their body did they use and how they learnt to do this.
Oh, that's really good. And so from a business perspective, how did you market the business initially?
By making up flyers with my mum and my sister's help, by walking the streets, handing them in mailboxes with my sisters, walking up and down, then word of mouth.
So referrals is a big part of business?
Yeah, by the end of it, it is now.
Yeah, did that take long to build up?
About 2 or 3 weeks before I had my first client, and then since then it's been a slow but steady progress.
Yeah, so most of it's referrals now because you've built that trust up with them, with the kids and that. And so what sort of age groups do you cover here?
My youngest I start at 4 weeks, right up until I think it's 14 at the moment. So.
Oh wow, big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you have to do different activities for different ages, I would imagine.
And age appropriate, and make sure you separate. So if I've got a younger child with an older child, I separate the correct time and make sure they get their correct age appropriate levels of activities.
Of activities, yeah.
Because it's fun. I get to draw. I get to see my niece.
So what sort of tips would you have for someone who would want to start up their own daycare business?
To do your research.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than not doing research. Finding out where there's availability, like toys, etc. Find out what if everything goes wrong. Where am I going to look for help? As simple as day-to-day bills to what happens in 3 months when I'm sick and I can't work. You really need to research and look into everything before you start.
Yeah, so lots of planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed you've got, certificates and things up on the wall of all the things that you've got to do. And what sort of goals do you have for the future of the business?
To be able to educate children as well as my daughter, because she's so young, so I want to provide for everything for her. So hopefully this will be good for the next 5-6 years, as she is only 18 months old. So I'd like to spend as much time with her as I can.
Yeah. So that's probably why you want to do the home care, just to be with her and have a business at the same time. There's a lot of checklists and things.
A lot of checklists and constant training. We have monthly training, and then there's some that's extra. So there could be a month where there's 2 or 3 training sessions a month. Constant weekly to fortnightly visits from our Amana Family Home Daycare coordinators. Lots of different, lots of paperwork.
Lots of paperwork. So Amy, what's been the best personal reward you've had from having this business?
Being able to purchase things without putting them on lay-by, like trampolines, bikes, big rewarding stuff, without having to lay-by it and have that daunting, am I going to be able to pay for it? That's the really big issue with a lot of businesses.
Yeah, so that's something that you can manage with your cash flow and doing all the bookwork.
And making sure that you are aware of expenses before you start, as well as during, because it's never-ending expenses.
Yeah. So you have to be super planned and organised, and it's all good. Yeah. All right. Okay, well, thank you so much for today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Amy. Well, I hope that inspired you to think outside the box. If you want to check out Amana Family Daycare, then give them a call. After the break, we'll be talking to Laurie Fry about how to make a career and a family work with Party Plan. See you soon. Well, welcome back. With me in the studio now is a lady that's climbed the ladder in her career and is now what is called a unit leader in her party plan business, Party Light. Hi Laurie, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
So Laurie, tell me, what got you started in owning your own business?
I had actually had my own business prior to this. Then I had my first daughter and I went back to a 9-to-5 job, but I kept missing all of her milestones. So then I went looking for something that I could work around having a daughter at home, but could also then contribute to the family finances as well.
Yeah, and so what drew you to Party Light itself?
It's because my interest is in pretty things. I did have an interior accessories store, so I'd already wanted to build on that, I guess. Paylight has some beautiful products that you can work with, so you can get to decorate your home for free, also earn an income from it as well.
Yeah, and so how are you fitting the business in around your home life then?
I usually diary plan, mark my diary out a few months in advance, work out everything to do with the family goes in first, and then I work out when my husband's might have work commitments on, and then I work out when I can actually book my parties in.
Yeah. And so what's the difference for you in owning your own business and having all this flexibility as opposed to working for someone else?
Okay, you've got to be self-motivated, self-disciplined, not put on that load of washing, go make that phone call, because if you don't make those phone calls or don't do what you need to do, you've got no money coming in. You don't have a time clock to actually click into, so you've got to be motivated enough to do what you need to do, set your designated work hours, ask your family to honour that as well, and then set aside time for family time and trying to be in one zone at one time, not taking that phone call just as you're about to set up for dinner or something like that.
Yeah, the ultimate time manager.
Yes, it doesn't always work, but you know, you keep to try to build on that, and we have trainings and monthly meetings which help keep you on track as well.
Yeah, you really enjoy that side of it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And so what are some of the challenges that you faced along the way on your journey?
Sometimes not managing my time very well. So we get a lot of support through the company. As to challenges, probably party cancellations, but that happens, so you just work forward, have more parties on your diary than what you actually physically need.
Yeah. And have you seen a change from when you had your first business to how people are wanting to get involved with candles and beautiful homewares and things like that, the growth in that?
I think it's the fact that we can take it into the person's home. They can then try it on for size, so to speak. They can put the table centrepiece where they wanted it, or the vase on the sideboard, so they can get to see it, get to appreciate it.
Yeah.
The hostesses provide us with the guests, or the shop front as well, and then we reward them quite handsomely with hostess rewards, half price items, things like that.
Things like that, yeah. And so obviously they'd love that side of it.
Yes,
yeah.
It's like taking your friends shopping to a high street store but getting rewarded for it.
Yeah. So Laurie, how did you grow the business?
My advertising, the company actually does a lot of advertising for us in big name magazines like bridal magazines, things like that. My main advertising is through word of mouth, meeting other people at parties that would like to host a party for themselves. Obviously selling yourself first, being very genuine, accommodating, open for your customers, being there, offering them extra customer service, and then people are usually happy to give you personal referrals onwards. And I also advertise at fetes and fairs by doing little stalls as well.
Tell us about that.
So that gives you obviously the platform to be meeting more people than what you would necessarily at a party. They get to appreciate the product, take home a little sample to try, and then either book a party there and then, or you do post out follow-up calls, and you know, if they like what they saw, well, quite often they'll book a party to get more.
Yeah. And so was it hard to get it started in the first instance? Or?
When I actually started the business, I was in England, and I had a really good friend base, which I started with over there. When we emigrated, or for me coming home, I started at the bottom again, but I had actually contacted the company in Australia before I left the UK, so I had that person to go to. Again, started with my starter show and my first 6 parties, and then worked it out from there, advertised at the local daycare at the time, again, markets and things like that, and then just built a business from, you know, little acorns, big trees grow.
Yeah, I like it. And how do you keep yourself motivated then?
By going to the meetings, having a buddy to work with, sharing, you know, your successes, crying over your disappointments sometimes, but you know, shrugging it off. The company offers us an incentive trip each year, so that keeps you motivated.
Yeah.
I've actually achieved 3 of the trips over the last few years. I've been to Hawaii, Fiji, got to take my husband to Hayman Island.
Wow, that's amazing.
Some others in the company actually got to achieve to go further to New York. And next year we're off to Mauritius.
Wow.
So that's probably my goal over the next few months, is working towards Mauritius and getting other people to join me on the journey.
Yeah, and how hard is it to reach those goals, to go on those trips?
It's just consistency, doing what's necessary each day, making those phone calls, booking those parties in, doing your customer service follow-ups.
Yeah.
And it's available for every consultant on every level, whether you're a unit leader or above, or a brand new consultant. Everybody has the opportunity to achieve to go. Wow.
And so how does this type of business compare to your other business, like a normal everyday business?
Well, it's all set up, ready for you to go. All the planning's done for you. There's a business model that's already up and working. It's proven. Whereas when you run your own business, you've got to have thousands of dollars worth of product on your shop floor at any one time, hoping somebody's going to walk in and buy it. This way you can work with no stock at all. You have your catalogues, your starter kit. You can build on that. The company supports with promotions where you can achieve extra product.
Yeah.
If you work to their roadmap, you can actually run it as a cashless business as well.
Wow.
So you don't actually have to put your money in your pocket, and it's free to get started.
Geez, that's a good incentive, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So for those who might be looking for a little bit extra, you can test drive it literally with a starter party and 2 parties. We have a promotion going on at the moment. Give it a go.
Yeah.
Starter party plus 2 will get you a kit. If you actually want a business and be earning an income, you have 6 or more parties on your diary to get started, and you'll be earning income straight away.
Wow. And so what are your goals then for the future of the business?
To build my team, to share what Paylight's given to me with others. It's a great company to work for, as most party planning companies are. They support you 100%. Fantastic product, and decorate my home and my family's homes for free, really.
Yeah, that's all right. Your friends would love that, wouldn't they?
Yes. Always candles for Christmas.
Or the candles for Christmas, yeah. I can smell the scent in the studio here. It's really beautiful. It's really nice.
Fantastic.
And so in terms of others, like that want to get started, what sort of tips and advice would you sort of give them?
To research your companies, maybe try a few on for size. Most will offer a starter kit either for no cost or a very low investment, but do your research first. I suggest choosing something that you have an interest in, you'd like to work with, whether it's plastics, cosmetics, candles. Find a company that suits you.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work first time, maybe just try a different company.
Yeah, so it's important.
Find what resonates with you, really.
Because then that would help with the motivation.
Yes,
I would imagine it'd be hard without that.
If you love what you do, you never really go to work.
No, you don't, do you? So it's very exciting, isn't it? And you've got all different types. You've got candles, and you've got what else have you?
We've got reed diffusers, which is your flameless fragrances. We also have plug-in for your laptops, car fresheners, oils for your oil burners as well, and then we have our candles. We have non-fragranced as well as fragranced, and we do melts, everything from tea lights right up to big 3-wick candles.
That's great, isn't it? All right, well, great. Well, thank you so much for bringing this beautiful display in as well, and for sharing all that information with us.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Thank
Laurie.
you.
Okay. Well, check out Party Light online to find an independent consultant near you to see if their business is what you've been looking for. Well, coming up next, we'll talk to a lady whose business is now turned into a large establishment that caters to 4-legged friends. Stay tuned. Welcome back. With me in the studio now is a lady that boasts to having over 1,000 clients now, but started with just 30. Hi Tara, thanks for talking with us.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks. So Tara, how did you get started in the pet grooming business?
I was given actually a show dog when I was 18 years of age, and from there it birthed within me the idea of wanting to work with dogs for the rest of my life. And I have an artistic flair, so pet grooming was my best option.
Yeah.
And so I had a view and had a look around to see what was available and who could actually teach me and train me. Ithaca TAFE, which is now called Brisbane North Institute of TAFE, run a grooming course there associated with back then it was called Kennel and Cattery Practices. And I had a natural gift for it, so the teacher said, I had a natural flair to just pick it up, and I haven't looked back, pretty much.
Yeah, and so how long have you been in the business?
I've been in the industry for 19 years now. I have owned my business for nearly 8 years now. I started it from scratch, as you've already said, with only 30 clients. And now, I have well over 1,000, and I only started with just myself, and now I have 5 regular staff under me. So,
that's quite an achievement, isn't it?
It is a very big achievement in 8 years,
Yeah. So how did you get your clients along the way? How did you market the business?
Okay, I marketed the business through the local newspaper at first for the first year. Because I couldn't advertise in Yellow Pages because it wasn't quite ready yet. Location was my best element. I actually asked a real estate agent to scout out which was the best location for a pet grooming business, and so he actually found one which was directly opposite the driveway of McDonald's.
Perfect.
Which is perfect location. So everyone that drives out of McDonald's would actually see our business sign and what I actually do. Yeah.
And how important is that location in the success of your business?
Well, it's right next door to a hairdressing salon. They say pet grooming businesses work really well if you're next door to either a hairdressing salon, a pet shop or a vet surgery.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's nice and handy then.
It does work in handy.
So you get a lot of walk-in traffic from there?
We do get a lot of walk-in traffic, because they do actually come out of McDonald's, and it's right in the centre of the Beenleigh CBD district, so it works out quite well.
Yeah, and so tell me a bit about your background. You were telling me about the training that you do with dogs and things like that before.
My parents actually owned a training centre, a dog training centre, and through that I became a qualified dog obedience instructor, and so therefore the skills in actually learning how to handle the large dogs as well as the small dogs is invaluable to the business that I currently do now. So I actually have the edge over the dogs and know how to handle and read the dogs extremely well. And if you know that a dog's is very nervous and is aggressive, you know how to handle it.
Yeah, I'd imagine that'd be very important.
Yes, well, your hands are your business. So because your hands, you use your tools for trade. So with the clipping and with the scissors, so you tend to have to protect them. So that's what you basically do, is just know how to handle the dogs.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different aspects to it, and so that's obviously come in handy.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So tell us about the actual services that you offer then.
Okay, we offer a lot. Obviously, we offer pet grooming, where we do hairdressing on animals, basically styles that actually suit each breed character. Say a Cocker Spaniel would have to have certain areas where it would be shaved, other areas where it would need hand stripping, and if they want show grooms, if they want shaved downs, you alter your way and your style according to what the client specifically want. Yeah.
So it's tailored to their
to their needs, and you listen to what the clients want, and if it's achievable, we can do it. Obviously, if a dog is really matted up and they ask for a really sort of fancy haircut, obviously there's no option but to shave them down. But in general, if the dog is relatively not free, we can pretty much do whatever the client basically wants.
Yeah, okay. And so what are some of the challenges that come with the business?
The challenges that come with the business is when you're actually growing, because when you're growing you have to delegate to your staff members, and you need to make sure that they're actually at a certain level to be able to handle the situation that is required.
Yeah. So
with skills and knowledge of handling it as well.
Yeah. And so over the years, have you seen a huge growth in the industry?
Yes, there is a huge growth in the industry, especially with the small dogs. A lot of small dogs are now classed as accessories. I guess is probably the best way to fashion accessories. But they're well loved, and I have to thank Paris Hilton for that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, it's a fun industry. Colour is now also involved in our industry, so we can actually play with the pet dyes. It's only been in Australia since 2006, readily available. It's all natural products that are actually used. There's no bleaches or anything like that.
Yeah.
And the colour, you can pretty much do the colour of the rainbow on your dogs if you want. Yeah.
So what sort of clients come in and get that done then?
Usually clients that have a party for their kids that are coming up, and they'll actually get ears and tail coloured in the favourite colour that their kids really like. Yeah. And it just creates a lovely ambience and atmosphere in regards to it, and people go, oh wow, look at the dog. Yeah. So, and it gives a really lovely feeling and a wow factor for the family and friends.
Yeah, so it sounds like a really great business to be in that sense with the family. But speaking of family, how do you fit it then into your lifetime commitments?
Yeah, well, it does have its ups and downs, because I've got 3 kids myself, and after 9 months in actually starting the business, I actually fell pregnant. And so it was actually quite difficult to actually have a baby and run a business at the same time. Yeah. So it was just learning to delegate, and running your own business is advantage to a certain degree, because you can pick and choose your times of when you work. So I like that. You like that.
And just a really quick wrap up of some hints and tips for anyone that wants to go into business for themselves.
Research the things that you want to do, and if that's your passion to do that, then go for it.
Yeah, so a lot of planning. And
there is definitely a lot of planning. I always research everything, and if you've got a gift, use it, and if you love doing what you do, you will be successful.
And obviously you've got that love there from your background with dogs.
Yes.
And you've got dogs of your own.
Yes, I have 2 dogs of my own. Yeah.
Do you colour them?
Yes, I do.
You do?
I've coloured Roxy, my poodle. I did images of 3D redback spiders on her at a competition.
Yeah. God.
So it was fun.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Well, listen, thanks so much for joining us, Tara. I really appreciate it.
That's all right, my pleasure.
That's all right, thank you.
Okay,
well, if you want to book for your own little friend in to be pampered, then check out Aussie Pet Groomers online. Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for this week. So all of us here at Good Business hope that you have been enlightened by all these women's fabulous stories and have picked up a few ideas for your own career. I'm Nicole Murray, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye for now.